Good morning, Thomas. How are you?
Jonathan, I'm doing fantastic. So last night was some action on TV on Thursday night. We had Kamala Harris doing her 16 minutes first interview with hand-holding Tim Walsh there to make sure she wasn't too scared by the CNN interviewer. So you know what? I know you watched it, so I'm going to throw it on your lap and give me your perspective of that interview.
So, it was, good that she finally came out and started talking, but when you compare what she gave, 16 plus minutes compared to what other candidates, not just Trump right now. I mean, obviously Trump right now is the guy that he is, talking every day live and at rallies and
Mm-hmm.
all that, and he's open to questions from anyone. This was a little bit of a shocker. It was 16 plus minutes. It looked like it was pre-taped. It was in like segments. It was almost like it kind of sounded like it was rehearsed as far as how
Okay.
they were putting it together. But listen,
Totally agree.
yeah, the host asked her some important questions, and I don't know if for everyday American people out there that were watching, if they got the answers that they were looking for. They didn't get the full answers. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
what I felt is that it was a lot of like fluffy answers, right? So what are you going to do day one? And she just talks about, supporting the middle class, helping the middle class. I didn't
Mm-hmm.
immediately see exactly what she meant by that, but they kept on talking about child credits, like giving tax credits for families with children. Um,
Okay.
again, what? Okay, so you're gonna give people, I think she said $6,000, if I'm not mistaken, for child
Mm-hmm.
tax credits.
Correct.
Okay, well, where I don't know where that money would come from, but let's just pretend like it comes out of somewhere that's fine. What else will you be doing? What about the people out there that don't have children? What about the people that are just starting their life? I saw an article a few days ago actually that they were saying like a huge population of the country are not having children right now. So
Oh,
if
yeah.
that's the case, that whole part about helping the middle class is not going to really help the middle class. It's going to help the people that have children.
Mm-hmm.
Listen, it's good. Let's help children. Let's help people with children. But what else will you be doing? Affordable housing. They mentioned they're going to give $25,000 to first-time home buyers. Again, I have no idea where that money will come from.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what they say. But I just don't know what her policies are. I mean, they constantly say that they're available to see them, read them. It looks like she's just kind of flipping with whatever she can find out.
Mm-hmm.
Um, she talks about not going back, but we've been with her and Joe for the last 3.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, let's be fair. I mean, Joe is the one that's supposed to be running the show. Joe Biden. He should be. So Harris does have limitations on what she could do, but at the same
Mm-hmm.
time, you're the second most important person. You should have influence, at least some. You
Mm-hmm.
know, he kept on talking about like this last decade's been terrible. Again,
Mm-hmm.
um, I don't know if she's trying to excite people with telling them all the bad things that have happened, but what are you going to do to help us in the future? That's what everyone
Mm-hmm.
should be asking. And I don't know if, uh, bashing Trump and saying that Trump's the reason why the economy was bad, acting as if Trump is the one that created COVID. That
Mm-hmm.
is because she asked, Dana asked her another question about the economy, which I think she spent like 2 or 3 minutes talking about the economy. And I think this uh, this this election should be about the economy, right? That's what's hurting everyone. It's not just you know all the other topics. It's really about how is everyone doing with food? How is everyone doing with their inflation, interest rates, all of that. She mentioned
Mm-hmm.
inflation's at 3% or below 3%. Um, I know from just being out there and buying things that my stuff's at 10, 20, 30, 40% higher than what it was 4 years ago.
Sure. Sure. No
So
doubt.
I mean, her whole big thing, and then another thing she talked about what they did. They lowered insulin costs. That's their big thing that they did. Again, I didn't even check to see if that's true or not, but even if that was true, that's
But
great.
well, here's the thing with that, just to add and the truth and the facts on that is this. That was actually signed by Trump in 2020 to lower it down to $35 on the Part D Medicare. And it took effect in 2021. So of course, Biden and Harris want to take claim to that. Okay. They did extend it in 2023 when it came up for renewal, which is, just a typical thing that happens under the different parts of
Yeah.
Medicare, I should say. So that's what that is. So I'll let you continue.
So I mean, again, should insulin costs be low? Of course they should. That's a good thing for everyone that has, a need for it. But
Hmm.
that's a small part about what's going on in this economy, in this environment that we're in the United States. Again, I don't think that's enough to help everyone in America. The insulin costs, the giving people $6,000 per kid for tax credit,
Hmm.
um, talking about. Um, it was funny. There was two questions that she just didn't answer. I mean, she didn't answer a lot of the questions, but two of them, she was asked, is Bidenomics a success? And she didn't say yes or no. What she did was she talked about what they did. So it was
Hmm.
interesting that she didn't like take claim yes it was or no it was and we could have done better. She just did whatever she wanted to do. And then she mentioned that Trump, Dana mentioned that Trump said a couple days ago that I didn't know that Vice President Harris was black because I mean, that's just what Trump said. And so she directly asked the question to Harris and she didn't answer. She just said, next question, then she giggled. So, again, if you're trying to sway a certain voter by saying that you're black, why not pony up and say that you are or you aren't or
Yeah.
correcting it? So, I don't know what. Again, I'm not going to say what she is because do your own research to see. But I don't think that matters anyway. I mean, I don't think we should elect the president, whether it's a male, female, black, white,
Of
or
course not.
other. You should only be going to elect the president or anyone that is qualified for the job.
Yeah.
So I
Pretty
mean,
much, I got to tell you, you know what, you talked as much as Harris did during that whole CNN interview just in the last few minutes. You're doing good, Jonathan. Maybe you should be an advisor for
yeah,
her.
that'd be funny. I mean, listen, it's
Yep.
to be fair, I think everyone should see what both parties are saying.
Hmm.
And we've said this many times, just do the actual research. She's claiming that she's gonna stick true to her values, right? She said that a couple of
Hmm.
times, and but just in the interview, she switched within a year or two how she felt. I mean, they talked about fracking, and she mentioned, I think in 2000, Dana mentioned in 2019 that she said that she was against it, and then in 2020 she was for it. So I
Hmm.
don't know. Is she just saying whatever the people want to hear for right now?
You know what? She's being a flip flopper. That's exactly what she's doing. She's playing a game because the people behind the scenes that are basically running the game for her, they know what the game's going to be, if she gets in. So, just my thoughts on it. I think
Yeah.
it summed it up pretty much on the Daily Mail. They called it a train wreck, the interview itself. There was a lot of softball questions. Okay. Like you said, about 3.5 minutes, she spoke about the economy. Then she spoke about inflation, was blaming Trump on the inflation, like you mentioned. And also when it came to, democracy, she's saying, Trump's a threat to democracy. You know, People who are going to vote for Harris right now, they're going to vote for him. The people who are going to vote for Trump, they're going to vote for him. So no matter what they say, they're going to vote for him. It's the people who are on the fence, okay? And you have some, hardcore conservatives, you have some hardcore Democrats, and then you have independents. Those are the people that are on the fence right now. These are the people that have to enlighten and see through the bullshit of what's happening. You know, Kamala Harris's father, go research him, okay? He's a Marxist, okay? He's 86 years old. He spent his times in universities teaching, but he's all about Marxism. That's what he's about. And Marxism economics, etc. So is this something you want to invite into your culture, into your life, into your nation? That's what you have to look at. And again, like I mentioned the other day, get the book Karl Marx wrote, Communist Manifesto. Okay, that's Marxism. It's 96 pages. Read it so you can understand it. America, if they get in, meaning Harrison Walsh, You can stick a fork in this nation. The republic's gone. We're not a democracy. We are a republic. Not once is the word democracy mentioned in the Constitution's Articles of Confederation, Declaration of Independence. We talk about the republic itself. What was interesting, David Axelrod, who everybody knows through the Obama administration, he was on CNN last night, and he said that Harris hasn't moved the ball forward that much after that interview. Scott Jennings, he was an ex-Bush advisor, said that Donald Trump will be salivating, waiting for the debate on September 10th, because he's going to just chew her up. And also, GOP polling guru, who I really don't think he's a conservative at all, Frank Lutz, he actually said, quote unquote, a lot of people think Kamala Harris has done well so far in this interview. I disagree. A good debater will find it easy to challenge her. So that's pretty much what is coming from, Frank Lutz, who, he's the guy that does all the polling itself. I think September 10th might be very interesting, that debate. It'll be interesting what the vibes are going to be from voters after that, and also the polls, and especially Las Vegas. Who are they going to be betting on after that? Interesting thing, as we all know, that was pre-taped and also edited, that interview, 16 minutes. Kamala Harris had a stop yesterday in Savannah, all right, in Georgia. And actually, one of the headlines was Kamala Harris falls apart at Georgia campaign event, sounds more incoherent than Joe Biden. He's been actually accused of being a heavy drinker. But the videos that you'll see in this clip in the Gateway Pundit, it's like, you got to be kidding me when you listen to her. I mean, she's like not making sense in what she's saying at all. And after not only these clips, but I looked into it further this morning, and it was just off the bat. It's the first time since 1992 a presidential candidate has stopped in Savannah. The last person was actually Bill Clinton, who actually stopped in Savannah to campaign. So that's where it came on that end. Your thoughts on last night's town hall that Tulsi Gabbard hosted at the University of Wisconsin for Donald Trump? And by the way, the place was packed with 8,000 people on the university campus. So did you get to watch any of that?
Honestly, I didn't get a chance to watch that, though. That relationship between Donald and her, it's an interesting one, because she, coming from the Democratic Party, it shows, I mean, and I think it should show that Trump does have the ability to work with, go across the aisle and work with other people from that party. That's really what we need. You really do need the president to be able to work with everyone, not just people within your party. And I mean, I know Kamala Harris mentioned that she would bring in a Republican into her cabinet. I'm not sure if you saw that or heard that part.
What type of Republican? A rhino, probably some that's, part of the problem. That's what it is.
I did watch a lot of the debates from 4 years ago when she was debating Kamala Harris, and I think Trump's got something with her. I think she is a good person to align with, and she's very open. She's made it very clear that her and Trump don't agree on everything, but they have a common ground, and they love America and they want the best for America. So I'm not saying the other people don't. I'm just saying that I think what we think the best for America is different than what Kamala Harris thinks, obviously.
True. Tulsi Gabbard, I have a lot of respect for her. And, I think it's good to bring people on your team. You don't want yes people all the time. You want people who are going to make you think, as long as they're being logical, And again, we actually put Fridays for the next few more till the election. Fridays is going to be logic versus emotions. Okay. So Tulsi Gabbard herself, is a military. She's still active in the military. I think she's a colonel. That's her rankings. She's now on the transition team officially this week, on the Trump transition team, along with RFK Jr., which is also a big plus. Be interesting if he gets a cabinet spot, or possibly the health services, because that's his wheelhouse with the vaccines and food, etc. But I think that would be great. But Trump is building himself a good team. You know what? Come after Labor Day, all right, which is this coming Monday, things are going to start running. But especially right after that debate, it's going to be real interesting to see what happens. One of the things that Trump, was talking about last night when the questions he was asked from the people there in the town hall was about inflation, also about immigration, and affording a house. You know what? The biggest thing is we're producing oil in this country. We're actually producing a little bit more oil than we did under Trump. However, they cut off the main supply that was actually going to go from Canada. It was future supply from Canada down to the Gulf Coast. That was cut off. Everything's based on futures when it comes to the markets. It's the future things that are happening. So once that gets back online, energy prices are going to go down tremendously. And once energy prices go down, that's gasoline included, it'll help also the food prices itself. So these are the things we got to look at. One thing that Kamala didn't talk about last night was crime. She did not even touch upon it, okay? And neither did CNN, but they should. And you pull up that last link I sent you, what happened in the Colorado area, I think it was Oracle, Colorado, where a second building was taken over by a Venezuelan gang, an apartment building, okay? Kicking residents and making their lives hell and breaking into their apartments and kicking them out. And the police nor the mayor is doing nothing about it. But meanwhile, when you read into it, the federal government has given these cities so much money, tremendous amount of money, where they're just like, looking the other way for all these migrants, okay? This money isn't for the citizens, it's for the migrants. And the cities are just becoming very Marxist along with the federal government in regards to this, and that's not healthy at all. Anyway, we as a nation and people, that's us. We are the people, we are the nation. We have to start looking at things a lot differently and enlightening ourselves on what's going on. So you know what? The dam's about to burst out with, the election coming up, and we're going to really see the true colors of Harris and how Trump's going to basically, pigeonhole her, where she's either going to have to step up to the plate and really be a leader, or she's going to run like hell and hide. That's what she's going to do. Your final thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, the crime. I mean, the crime is so bad that people can't even go out and not worry about it. So the fact that you don't talk about it, I mean, how can you talk about it? You had less than 20 minutes to really address the public, and the economy has to take the focus, but let's not be, a Venezuelan gang coming into a town and taking over. And now I was watching on the news that they're going to have to bring in like state, federal, all these different type of agencies to come in and try and get this specific gang out. And that's just one that we know about. Imagine how many others are out there. So we definitely need a lot more help on the crime front. I can't even imagine if something like that came into everyone's areas. I mean, how would people feel if the entire country looked like certain areas of New York City or LA or Chicago? So I mean, I think during that convention the other week, they said there was I don't know the number, but it was like 40 shootings, 6 murders, like just in that first week. So the crime's got to take a big step. We got to stop it. We have to become a safe country again. You don't need to be scared to go in the subway or be scared to walk around and crazy things happening to people that you couldn't imagine. So, listen, you need to really think, people need to really think about who's going to help them be safe, have money in their pocket, and be able to live a life and not just survive. I mean, they just want us to survive. They're thinking that people don't care about thriving. But we all want to do better, right? Everyone in this country, we talk to people all day.
You want to have a quality of life. That's what you want to have. Like you say, you don't want to go out in fear. Listen, Kamala Harris was for defunding the police. Okay, she was also setting up funds for the rioters up in Milwaukee with the George Floyd, set them free. Cash, catch and release programs with the city. She's for all this. Okay, it doesn't work. Okay, we have too much crime, too much drugs in this country. The fentanyl is a huge issue. I don't want to get into that. But I think the majority of people in this country have been touched by someone they personally know and knows through somebody else that they died and overdosed with fentanyl. Okay. Um, Again, we as a nation, let's be logical, not emotional. Okay. I know Trump personality wise can really, piss
Yeah,
people off. But what's the policies you didn't like that he had over those 4 years? What policies was so dreadful that you couldn't take him anymore and was hurting you tremendously? Because I'd really like to know and comment about that. Tell us, enlighten us if that's the case. I don't want to know about his personality, okay? I want to know
yeah.
what his policies were over the last 4 years when he was in office that really was like detrimental to you, okay? That's what
That's
I
an
want to know.
that's an important part. I mean, I don't think a lot of people like or like Trump's personality. I think that's his biggest flaw as
Mhm.
a president, as trying to someone to be a president. And when he first got elected, I didn't care for him either, honestly. But it took him showing me how he was gonna help the country for me to like him. And I still don't really like how he presents himself because I can see the other side. I can see how he looks like, unprofessional and not presidential. But again, what he does for us, and not only us, the world, is far
Mhm.
greater than how he sounds or what he's acting like. Because again, I think the baby games is what he did in the first, he said, she said, kind of baby bashing. I think that's what really is annoying. But let's not be mistaken. I mean, the President Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, Vice President Kamala Harris, I mean, they're not good speakers, right? I
No,
mean,
not
they're
at
not
all.
gonna, she can't do a live, questions with people. And I mean, it just, you can see she stutters, she laughs, she does all these weird, uncomfortable things because she doesn't know how to.
And think about what you're saying. You're 100% correct. Now, based on that, she's got to present herself to world leaders like, Xing, also Putin, people that, she has to stand strong and be a leader. And you know what? She's got to be feared and respected at the same time, which ain't going to happen with her. And people say, oh, why do you got to be a bully? It ain't a bully. You got to understand something. You're supposed to be the most powerful country in the world. You don't want anybody to screw with you. So you got to present yourself. Hey, listen, you could be nice about it, but you crossed me, this is what's going to happen. Okay. And that's what we need right now. We're on the brink of World War III, and people have to realize what's going on. Again, enlighten yourselves. Take the time, shut off the TV, and research things. Don't just go through CNN or Fox. Go through other avenues and see what's happening out there. Like you're in college doing a thesis paper. That's the way you got to research this. Listen, hopefully, we're giving you creative knowledge. Please subscribe. If you have, great. We ask you to share this video with others. Please comment, hit that thumbs up. You guys have a great holiday weekend. Enjoy your Labor Day. Take care.